much you work out every single day, you're in the gym each and every single day, you're not going to be able to pick up a skyscraper with your bare hands. You're not able to do it because something that doesn't possess something cannot give it. You do not ask, you do not ask a poor person to give you $1 million because they don't have it. They're not able to give it. Okay, so it's something to think about. That these are three questions that you cannot attribute the universe to these three things. Does anyone disagree? Does anyone think that yes, you can attribute to one of these three things? We're not going to make fun. We want to hear. Yeah, sure.
So, if you assume that a creator created this, right? Then you would assume that the creator was there beforehand. Like the creator is always existing. So why couldn't this just be there beforehand? Why couldn't there just be something beforehand?
That's a good question. Anyone want to help me with that? How do you answer that question? Who has that question in their mind? Raise your hand. It's not kufr. Okay? It's not disbelief. Right? So you can still be a Christian, you can still be a Muslim, you can still be whatever you are, and have the question in your mind. How do you answer this question? Anyone?
Could you repeat your question again?
Yeah. So the question is basically this is assuming that, so I think the conclusion is we're coming to is that there's a creator, right? And that the creator was there beforehand. The creator created something, so the creator had to be there. So the question is why did the creator have to be there and not the thing itself? Why couldn't the thing itself have just existed just as we would assume that the creator had just existed?
Wouldn't it have to like come from somewhere? Wouldn't that go back to the fact like someone else thought that it has to come from somewhere? So wouldn't that kind of go against it? And wouldn't that go back to that?
Right, well the problem here is, who created the creator then, right? Yes.
One of the things that I was thinking as a good argument is that when you study creation, you understand that it's deteriorating and it's something that is finite. Like you can see that within the nature of creation, and therefore that's something that explains like there has to be a beginning and an end to it.
Second law of thermodynamics.
Exactly. And then
Right. Alright, anyone else? Yeah.
Is it because we're dependent and God is self-sufficient, so he doesn't need anything to be there, but we need God to start it?
What do you mean we need God to start? But why can't it just, the question is this, is that we're assuming that God has existed since the beginning. He must have created something. What came before? That's your question?
So why can't you assume that the thing you're in question just was when you're assuming God was just was?
Why can't you just assume that the universe has existed forever, for example? It just was.
The Big Bang, that it started from something.
Right, the Big Bang is always contested. See, lately, who knows what the modern, the latest theory is in physics? Yeah.
Isn't it superstring theory or something like that?
Right. So basically what's happened was, so Einstein came along, just a brief history, we don't want to go too long on tangent, but brief history was Einstein came along and said there's not 3 dimensions in the universe, there's 4. 3 of space, 1 of time. Then they came out with, they realized that, well, we're trying to measure these electrons, and they seem to be popping up, they seem to be coming in and out, like this, what's going on? They're adding more dimensions, 6 dimensions, 7 dimensions. The theory came dimensions, and string theory dimensions, 10 dimensions. So basically, to make a long story short, is that string theory was just out before. The Big Bang Muslim, right? And you say, okay, well, the Quran says so, right? But that doesn't work for somebody else. Yeah.
Well, if we just assume that the universe just is there before us, and that was the only thing that started, then what about everything else that we perceive, like time, like you said, the dimensions, like how did those come into being? Like how could there be time when you make, like it just doesn't make any sense if there's no ultimate being that like created time, created all these different intricacies, there's just a universe. Like how could time start going like that? It could just be frozen and like be like a picture.
Is it not? Anyone else? Here's the question is, why are we attributing the world to God? Let us get to the next slide. Who could have done it? And we say God. Okay, so who could have possibly done it? If you don't accept the first three questions, don't start reading all the other stuff. So, if you don't accept the other three questions and you say, well, yeah, that doesn't make sense. We say, who could have done it? God. On what basis are you claiming now that God created the universe? On what basis are you making that statement? There's no revelation right now, okay? There's no revelation. You don't have the Quran to use evidence. You don't have the Bible. You don't have the Torah. You don't have any of this. On what basis is somebody attributing that God created the universe, or rather than the universe having come by itself, or just been there? Yeah.
A basis of elimination. You say no, 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 so then you just stumble upon the fact that there has to be some intelligent, better thing than us, because obviously humans couldn't have done it. Like,
Yeah. On what basis could humans not have done it?
it's just our capacity.
Right.
We can't even build another world or anything like that, even that great. We
Right.
can only just build on this thing. That's it. If we go out into space and we try to breathe, we die. So we can't really do anything.
Right. So then, if you use that same basis, on what basis can you say that the world itself should not just be there?
Well,
Because it has limited capacity as well, and it's governed by natural law, and natural law has cause and effect, and so it has to be something outside of natural.
There you go. There's your answer. Thank you. Okay, so the human mind is designed to believe in cause and effect. Okay, now while people may take objection to the principle of causality, it's just a philosophical argument, but in practicality, the human mind always thinks that. And if you want a simple example, I'm telling you, if somebody walked up to you from behind and just smacked you on the back of the head, okay, don't do this, I don't recommend you do this, but if somebody, it's not Islamic even, especially for Muslims, you should not be doing that, but if somebody smacked you up on the back of the head and you turned around, you saw the person, right, what are you going to say? If that person said, no, you can't claim it because you don't believe in causality, so there's no basis to say that, well, I did it just because I'm behind you, right? Maybe you just felt the sensation in your mind, and you're not going to do that. You're going to get mad at the guy, right? You automatically think in terms of cause and effect. Okay, so that's something natural to the human mind. And if somebody tells you, well, we have to go beyond that, then they're asking you that we have to go beyond being human. And if you want to go beyond being human, you can try and be something else if you want. But as human beings, we're limited. And this is the way we think, this is the way we're programmed to think. Everything that we know, everything that we experience is based upon these principles. So we have to keep them in mind. Okay? Is that clear? Alright. Some people argue that they only believe in what they can see. Okay, so they say, well, okay, you're going to tell me that there's a God who created this universe. I can't see God. How can I believe in something that I cannot see? I only believe in things that I can see. What's your answer to this person?
Can't see gravity.
Can't see gravity.